What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Fresh Review. Today we're reviewing Week 1 of the 2024 NFL season. In the background, you guys will see my Madden 25 Ultimate Team that you see in the gameplay. You got a whole bunch of highlights here. So I hope you guys enjoy the gameplay as much as you guys enjoy the commentary. But let me know in the comments which one you guys do like more, the gameplay or the commentary. But that's enough talking about the gameplay. Let's talk about the game of the week. The only game I'll recap in great detail, and that was the Ravens versus the Chiefs. We had great build to this match. Not only was it a season opener, it was the AFC Championship rematch from last year. The Ravens, a two-time MVP in Lamar, is taking on a two-time MVP in Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes also a three-time Super Bowl champion and three-time Super Bowl MVP in his own right. But the two best teams in the AFC, many people will say, going head up to start the season, and man, did this game not disappoint. As you're watching this game, I kind of felt personally like the Chiefs were never in danger of losing until it got to the final drive. And the Lamar, well, after the Ravens defense forced a punt, Lamar Jackson, what does he do? Throws a bomb to Rashad Bateman. That gets him in the field goal range. Bateman was kind of quiet all game, but this was his first big splash play. That gets them to field goal range, but they're down 7. They don't need a field goal. They need a touchdown. A couple plays later, Lamar sees Likely open in the end zone, but he overthrows Likely. Likely crashes hard out of bounds, and he hurts himself. So it's about 10 seconds left in the game. Likely got to come out of the game for a while for an injury. So he got to miss at least one play. The next play, Zay Flower gets open to the end zone, but Lamar Jackson intended to throw it to Rashad Bateman. So the ball actually went right between both of them. And he held it half a second longer, he said. He saw Zay Flowers getting open and hit Zay Flowers for the TD that made it 26-27, but they don't convert on that play. So final play of the game, 4 seconds left. Isaiah Likely comes back in after having a phenomenal game, 100 plus yards and a TD. He goes up, gadgets the ball out the sky, lands on it, but he needs a manicure or pedicure. I don't know which is which, but he needs his toenails clipped. The man's big toe was out of bounds. It's crazy because when I saw it, I thought they converted, and then the camera goes to Harbaugh. Coach Harbaugh's on the sideline. He got two fingers in the sky. They're going for two to win the game. I got deja vu from when the last time the Ravens beat the Chiefs, and they went for two to win it, and they stole it. But we didn't get to see it. But nevertheless, this was a spectacular game in my opinion. I'm giving this game a 98 out of 100. It lived up to the hype. It's going to be a tough game to beat. This could definitely be a game of the year candidate later on in the year because this also had playoff implications. Even in week 1, I know it sounds early, but we expect these teams to both make the playoffs. This could determine home field advantage, seeding in the playoffs, anything like that. So, nevertheless, a great game between both these teams. Can't wait to see what they do next week against their respective matchups. Next up, we got the Brazil game. Green Bay Packers taking on Philly in Brazil. Now, true disclaimer, well, total disclaimer. I am an Eagles fan, so keep that in mind. You think I'm judging any of these games biased, but I thought this was an amazing game myself. Saquon was electric. He had 3 TDs. Jalen Hurts was concerning. He threw 2 picks, had 3 fumbles, but it's kind of tough to call them fumbles because you could say the 2 of them were bad snaps. Even one came at the end of the game when we tried to do a tush push on 3rd and goal. That why it ended the game. We was up by 2, but we fumble that's changed between center and quarterback. So that might take some time since we lost Kelsey, Cam Jurgens, and Hurts to gel together because that was 2 bad snaps that resulted in fumbles, unfortunately. But we were able to recover that one. But we had to settle for 3. That allowed Jordan Love to potentially get the game-winning drive. But unfortunately, Jordan Love got injured on the final drive, and he will be missing some weeks. Thankfully, though, it was only a PCL tear, I believe. So he should be good to go, or maybe even a PCL strain. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but he should be good to go in a few weeks from now. Shouldn't miss too much time. They didn't even put him on IR, from my knowledge. So they're expected to get him by week 5 or sooner. That's a good thing for them because I was hearing the torn ACL, and you would hate to see that for any team, especially one as young and hungry as the Packers. I'm really curious to see where they go going forward. But Saquon, like I said, was electric. Jair and A.J. Brown were going at it back and forth all game. Jair got a pick and almost had another one. A.J. Brown had to break it up. A.J. Brown burnt Jair for a big TD, catch and run, about 60-something yards. So, star players did bowl out. Jair, Saquon. Jaden Reed as well. I'd be wrong if I didn't mention Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed had big play after big play after big play Every time he got the ball, is a chunk play. So Jaden Reed looked really explosive here. He could be the number one in Green Bay. I know a lot of people are curious about who could be that number one. It could be Jaden Reed, right? It could have been Watson, Dobbs, or Wicks. It looks like it will be Jaden Reed. He was amazing in this game, and so was the game overall. I'm giving this game an amazing score of 91 out of 100. Let's go on to our next game, which is the Steelers at Falcons. This game was insane. Kyle Pitts scored a TD. Can you believe it? This man used to be allergic to the end zone. He scored the Falcons' only TD. Bijan is really good and explosive. He looks solid even against this tough defense. I can't wait to see what he does against weaker defenses coming up. Drake London didn't do too much, and Kirk Cousins is kind of, him and Rodgers both tore their Achilles last year, but I didn't know this until after. Kirk Cousins tore the Achilles on his plant leg. Rodgers tore the Achilles on his front leg. So you can see Cousins look more like a statue. Maybe he didn't trust his Achilles, drop it back on it and stuff like that. He will have to get out of that. Got to break that mental barricade, or else he could be losing his job to Penix. Depending on how they start, they got a tough schedule coming out. We could hear some "We want Penix" chants for the ATL crowd. But T.J. Watt wrecked this game. The whole Steelers D-line wrecked this game, by the way. They won this game off of all field goals. The Steelers did not score a single touchdown. They scored 6 straight field goals and won it. I believe another team did that a few years ago where a kicker scored 7 straight field goals. So you wouldn't have known because it looked like a normal score. 21 to whatever the case may be, and they won that game with 21 points. So you might have thought, oh, 3 TDs. No, it was 7 field goals to get there. Overall, though, I thought this game was actually good. I'm giving it a 74 out of 100. Justin Fields was the quarterback for the Steelers. Next week they play the Broncos. I hope Russ is able to come back and play. I really want to see that revenge game between Russ and Denver, but it might be Justin Fields again. Now, our game after that, we were doing the Cardinals versus the Buffalo Bills. This game was wild. Kyler Murray looked so good in the first half, but Marvin Harrison Jr. did not. Now, it's only 1 week, so I'm not trying to call him a generational bust or anything like that, but he only had 1 catch, 4 yards. He was open late in the game for the go-ahead TD. Could have even been the game-winning TD. It had been 30 seconds left. Josh Allen and the boys who I had to get in field goal range with 30 seconds, which is doable, but it's a tough get. He's wide open on a blown coverage or missed assignment. I don't know what happens. Kyler does not see him, though. That would have been huge for a game-winning TD. But the Bills rallied back and get this game. Josh Allen was sensational. He had 4 total TDs, 2 through the air, 2 on the ground. Greg Russo, I believe that's how you say his name. He had 3 sacks, so he was balling. I thought this was a truly great game, though. I'm giving this one an 87 out of 100. And that's going to we're going from one generational talent and Marvin Harrison Jr. that underperformed to our next one. So that's Caleb Williams underperforming. The number 1 wideout off the board, the number 1 quarterback, both underperformed in their debuts. Marv didn't play preseason, didn't run the combine. I don't like any of that for Marv. Caleb did play preseason. So I kind of shocked to see how he struggled this much this game because Caleb looked solid enough in the preseason. He made some highlight plays and stuff. I had some missed throws and stuff like that. But, that's going to happen. But he definitely looked spectacular in the preseason when he was clicking. But he did not look anything like that this game. Neither did Will Levis. They combined for 220 yards passing. 127 for Will Levis, 93 for Caleb Williams. That's disgusting. I had a friend that betted 200 that Caleb throws for 200 yards, 175 and 150, all on 3 different slips. He only had 93, so he killed my friend's slip. He's like 150 and I could go get 150. 150 is crazy not to do. I had another friend that actually went to this game and saw the Caleb debacle in person. He couldn't believe it. He was distraught. We played Dynasty Football League. He got Caleb Williams. He's like, yo, I got the quarterback for the next 20 years that's going to be as good as Mahomes. He's a Bear fan, so it's a little delusional. And he's a cap artist, too. He caps a lot, but that's a different story. Will Levis had a generational meme. Man was on his knees, hands on his head in disbelief. Like, this game was a whole bunch of poverty. I ain't going to lie to you. Tyreek Stevenson had the pick 6, which is great. TJ Edwards had 15 tackles. The Bears' defense is the only stars of this show, really. Everybody else kind of underperformed. So there's that. I didn't think this game was horrible or anything like that, but it definitely wasn't a good game. Got to give it above average since it remained close and the Bears did come back and win it. I'm going to give it a 64 out of 100. Now, our next game, I only missed 2 games. I do this pick 'em sheet with my dad every week, and you pick all 16 games, whatever. I went 14-2 in week 1, which is really impressive in week 1 because you don't know it's kind of a random week. It's ideal. You get to see how teams perform, and then you can pick better as the season goes out based on matchups and strengths and weaknesses. I only missed the Steelers at Falcons and the Patriots at Bengals. This game was kind of shocking. Granted, the Bengals always do struggle in the first month of the season. They aren't a very good September squad, but Joe Burrow only threw for 164. Ramondre Stevenson ran for 120. Jamar Chase didn't look too good as well. He only had 62 receiving yards. Granted, if T. Higgins was there, it could have been a different game. The Patriots really did great taking away Jamar Chase. Christian Gonzalez is great this game. And Jacoby Brissett, I like the decision to start Jacoby Brissett because the Patriots have a tough schedule. So if the Patriots were to get blown out in all these games for the first month of the season, Brissett's a veteran. I almost want to violate it and say he's used to it, but I ain't finna go that far. He might be used to it, though. I don't know. But Brissett's a veteran and stuff like that. Drake May's a rookie. It could destroy his confidence. So they can make a playoff push. That's even great with Brissett because May could just sit out the whole year and learn the system and learn behind Brissett. But if they do struggle, then you can make that switch at quarterback when the schedule gets a little bit easier. But that was that game. I thought that game was actually worse than the Bears Titans. I'm not gonna lie to you, but shocking enough, I got a slightly above average grade. I'm gonna give it a 58 out of 100. Now we have the Texans taking on the Colts. Jonathan Taylor and AR, dynamic duo. Didn't see him last year because when Taylor came back from injury, AR was already out due to injury, so we didn't see him last year play. They look dynamic together, man. I think they're really going to make each other play better because it's tough to guard two explosive players in that read option. And AR is built like a tank. He got big glutes, strong calves. I salivated all over this man when he came out of college. No, I'm kidding. I'm a Florida Gator fan. I didn't think he was that great. But that's because of accuracy issues. I knew he had the throw power, and he delivered two beautiful bombs to Alec Pierce. Now, he also could have delivered two to A.D. Mitchell. One that had been a guaranteed TD, A.D. just catches it. Okay, he is pretty much in the end zone. The other one had been a catch down the sideline for a big play, and AD has 4.3 speed, so he could have potentially caught it and then ran in, but it had been a close play, but it had been a big play nevertheless. That was A.R. Richardson, Anthony Richardson and the Colts. They looked great, but who also looked great were the new additions for the Texans. Mixon and Stephon Diggs total for 3 TDs. Diggs had 2 of them, Mixon had 1, and then Mixon ran for over 100 plus yards. 159 to be exact. So they were gashing the Colts defense. So big additions over the offseason. Curious to see how the Texans do. I thought this was another amazing game. I've given this one a 91 out of 100. I think it's just as good as the Packers at Eagles. But let me know what you guys think. Which one do you guys think were better, or were they equal? Packers versus Eagles or Texans versus Colts? And that will go to our next game. Another goodie is the Jaguars taking on the Dolphins. And Tyreek Hill, before the game, got arrested by some cops on the way to the game. So, fast forward, Travis Etienne's about to run in for a TD. The Jags are up 17-7. He fumbles at the 1-yard line because Javon Holland punches out. The Dolphins recover in the end zone. It's a touchback. The very next play, Tyreek Hill down the sideline, 80-yard TD. He doesn't even have the angle. Like, you need a protractor, take geometry classes. He has no angles. It defies physics what this man be doing. He caught on the sideline, like, all right, they're going to push him out of bounds. They got him. The man just, oh my goodness. When you think you got him, you don't got him. Speed kills, it really does. So Tyreek Hill got all the momentum for the Dolphins going that way. But unfortunately for the Dolphins, this video is being recorded right now. After the Thursday night game, they did lose Tua. Tua was really good. This game, he had 300 yards, but Tua suffered another concussion. Now you got to wonder what happens for the future of his career against the Bills. He suffered another concussion, so hopefully Tua is able to keep playing, but he might have to hang it up. It's very concerning with all these concussions and stuff. But Brian Thomas Jr., the rookie that the Jaguars dropped, I'd be missed. I didn't talk about him. Drafted. 4 targets, 4 catches, and a TD. So BTJ looks like it could be an upgrade from Calvin Ridley. It depends. But let's go to our next game. Oh, my apologies. I forgot to grade that one. I thought that one was another amazing game. I'm giving that game a 90 out of 100. I think the other 2 games were slightly better. Slightly. It's very close to tell, but I'm just giving it a 90 out of 100. I think Tyreek Hill might have the greatest TD celebration we see all year. Him reenacting the handcuff situation that happened earlier that day. That's a tough situation to beat. Celebration to beat. But let's go on to another game that was far from amazing. Carolina versus Saints. How disappointed was this game? If you're a Carolina Panther fan, it's time to start thinking about 2030. That might be the next time your team is good. Because you guys gave a Christian McCaffrey for nothing. He got OPOY. You guys gave a DJ Moore for pretty much nothing. He went to Chicago, had his best season of his career. You guys put everything in to get Bryce Young. And a lot of you guys chose wrong because CJ Stroud looks like he's way better. I mean, it's not even close. I thought Bryce Young could have took that step like how Trevor Lawrence did when he got a real coach when he went from Urban Myers to Doug Peterson. I said, okay, going from Frank Wright to Dave Canales could be that upgrade. Dave Canales is a QB whisperer. This man Bryce Young was in wide open wide receivers. It's tough to watch. They even added Deontay Johnson to help him out and stuff. Maybe a Jonathan Brooks come back that could help him, but the Saints were pub stomping. I mean, they just looked elite. We got to see how good the Saints really are when they play the Cowboys. They got to get tested. We got to see how good the Saints really are because that's a tough game. 47-10 is a blowout. It was over by halftime, maybe even sooner than that. This game was actually awful. I'm giving it 18 out of 100. I just got to go to the next game, man. That game was so bad. Now we got the Vikings at Giants, and, I mean, this one wasn't much better as well. This game was another blowout. Sam Darnold started off completing so many passes in a row. I lost count. I don't remember how many it was. Aaron Jones looked solid on the ground. Malik Neighbors looked solid for a rookie. Well, I don't want to violate say for a rookie. Rookie wideout especially have been doing phenomenal. But, like, he looks like the only dude on that Giants offense. So they're still able to get him the ball. I knew that offense was going to struggle because this man Daniel Jones needs to get, like, an investigation from the CIA, the FBI, the DEA, IRS, any three-letter agency. All need to come after this man Daniel Jones. It makes no sense how this man has thrown more picks to the opponents. I mean, more TDs to the opponents since he has his teammates, since he signed his contract. That was an absolute finesse. $40 million a year to do nothing. I mean, this man is going out there to pay. You're paying this quarterback $40 million a year to help the other team. I don't understand the thought process. They should have paid Saquon, but that's a different story. The game was awful. Jefferson looked solid, of course, but I mean, they didn't even need Jefferson because the game was over. We're going to see what the Vikings do next week when they also get tested by San Fran. So, that game I thought was also awful as well. I'm giving that one a 19 out of 100. And now we're going on to our next game, and that is the evening slate. We got the Raiders taking on the Chargers. The Raiders. Gardner Minshew was the quarterback. He threw to 257. Lat McConkey looked really good for the Chargers. The Raiders, man, I don't know. They're probably not going to be that good. I didn't expect for them to be anything like that. I'm curious to see who they draft because I'm looking at Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew. They are definitely not the future. So I think the Raiders will be really bad this year and draft a quarterback. You got any predictions for the Raiders? Let me know. I could see them getting Shadur Sanders, Cam Ward, Carson Beck, any of these quarterbacks coming out this draft. But J.K. Dobbins, after those two horrific injuries he had, maybe even three, he's been hurt a whole lot. He was a really talented running back, but he's just been getting hurt. He had two explosive plays this game. Had 135 yards on the ground. So Dobbins is elite. And like I said, Lat McConkey, the first-round pick for the Chargers, looked great as well. So did Brock Bowers, his teammate over in Georgia for the Raiders. He looked solid as well. But I thought this game was actually just average as average gets. I'm giving it a grade of 50 out of 100. Now we got the Broncos at Seattle. Bo Nix had some turnovers this game. Kenneth Walker looked really good. He had over 100 yards rushing. Unfortunately, he got hurt, so we have to see what he does in week 2. I don't think he will play, so I think it will be the Zach Charbonnet show. Zach Charbonnet also had a TD. Bo Nix, of course, had some turnovers, but he did have a rushing TD. Seattle's actually a solid defense, so I kind of expect Bo Nix to struggle, especially in that environment, because that crowd is rambunctious over there in Seattle. The 12th man does not play. I thought this was another game that I'm giving a 50 out of 100 score. You guys could let me know what you guys thought of the Raiders and Chargers or Broncos and Seahawks, whatever game you guys thought was better. I thought they were both mid. Nothing wrong with them, but nothing too great about them. And now we got Dallas at Cleveland. So I thought this game was even worse than those other two ones. So I thought the afternoon slate was all kind of bad. Cleveland got a garbage time TD, but Deshaun Watson looks horrible, man. He was really such an elite quarterback before the scandals and all that. He was really good in Houston. Had to miss that time. Then injured his shoulder. Hasn't been the same. Hasn't been able to practice because the shoulder been giving him problems all offseason and stuff. So, I mean, Deshaun Watson is looking like a bigger finesse artist than Daniel Jones. But I will say at least Watson earned his contract, I think, playing wise. I don't know why Daniel Jones got his, bro. He wasn't even that good. They got to the playoffs. I thought that was a Saquon carry, but the team on his back carried this man down Jones like Saquon was pregnant. Some third trimester type stuff. But I thought this game was even worse. Dak looked okay. Lamb looked okay. Zeke fell into the end zone. Jerome Ford got a garbage time TD. The Browns signed Jerry Jeudy, but he wasn't anything too crazy. He got a TD as well. So that game I also thought was kind of bad. I'm giving it a 29 out of 100. Kind of disappointed because it's got been a really good game between two good defenses. And now we have our next one. We got the Commanders playing the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers look so good this game, man. Baker Mayfield threw for nearly 300 yards, 4 TDs. Mike Evans caught 2 of them. Their rookie wide receiver Jalen McMillan caught another one. Chris Godwin caught one. Chris Godwin led the game in receiving yards. Chris Godwin almost had more receiving yards than Jaden Daniels had passing yards. Jaden Daniels did not throw the ball downfield often. He ran a whole lot, though. Looked really elite with his legs, but he will have to get more comfortable throwing. In college, I will say when I'm watching this tape, it seems like he doesn't have the velocity to zip a ball in there, so maybe he's concerned about that. I don't know. He got great accuracy, though, but I think the velocity, the trajectory, and stuff like that could be a little bit better, so we got to see how he plays. Next week, not going to judge too much off of 1 week, but the number 2 overall pick looked great on the ground, needs to do a little bit better on the air. Because, like I said, 88 yards is not going to cut it. And now we got the Sunday night game. The Rams versus Detroit, a rematch from last year's NFC wildcard game. Matthew Stafford goes back to Detroit part 2. And I thought this game was awesome. It's cool to see because, Goff also played for the Rams. So it's like both of them are going back playing their former teams. This game was absolutely amazing. I think it's actually even better than the Eagles, Packers, and all that. So I'm giving this one a 94 out of 100. We did get overtime. This is the only game that went to overtime this week. And the Rams are down, but they fought back even without Puka, who unfortunately got injured. And he has a weird knee injury, according to Sean McVay, so he's on IR. We don't know when Puka will return. Might be a couple months from now. But Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford are still clicking at always. This man Kupp had 21 targets. Jameson Williams broke out this game. He struggled. His rookie season, he had it coming off a torn ACL. He had in college, so he didn't play too much till the end of the season. Last year, coaches were bashing him, saying whatever in training camp. But this game, he balled out. And the coaches actually singing his praises this time in the offseason compared to what they're doing like 15 months from now. So, 15 months ago, rather, I should say. So, Stafford, he threw for over 300. Montgomery had 91 on the ground. He had the game-winning TD. Gibbs also had a TD of his own. So that 1-2 punch in Detroit is still there. It's still a thing. And it will be a problem all year long. I'm giving that game a 93 out of 100. Now, I also just remember I forgot to give you guys the Bucs score in that game. I thought that game was also below average, but there's some big plays. So I'm giving that one a 44 out of 100. There's still some big plays and stuff in there. But we now have the New York Jets facing off against the San Fran 49ers. And I thought this game was actually kind of bad. Disappointment. At least Aaron Rodgers got through this game fully healthy. I think that's the biggest concern. Aaron Rodgers never really beats the Niners or anything like that, so I didn't expect for him to do it this time either. But Jordan Mason filled in for McCaffrey, and he did really well. 147 yards on the ground. Alan Lazard got 89 receiving yards. Aaron Rodgers does what he does best, man. If you jump off sides, he will make you pay. So he definitely capitalized on that this game. Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall look like they could be the truth. Although Fred Warner did force a fumble on Breece Hall, that's just Fred Warner being Fred Warner. He's a baller, best linebacker in the league. And Debo also scored a TD, and the Niners relied on Debo a lot since McCaffrey is out, so him and Mason are doing a lot of the work in the backfield. Ayuk struggled, and I kind of expected Ayuk to struggle because he held out. And it's like a reoccurring thing. These wideouts that hold out, they struggle to start the season, right? You saw Chase not have his best game. Lamb and Ayuk as well. All them boys held out. But granted, those were all tough matchups, so we see how they do next week as well. But that will conclude this video. So our next video will be a WWE video. You guys can expect that on Sunday or Monday. And then hopefully I'll be able to get the Week 2 review of the NFL on Tuesday or Wednesday out. That's the goal. So, as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope to see you guys on the next one. Let me know what you guys would prefer for me to do in these next videos for the NFL. This is our first one doing it for a full week review. I just want to record the game of the, give like a recap of the game of the week, which I thought was the season opener, and then do like a minute to two on all the other games. Let me know, guys, like this format. I can change it up. But as always, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope to see you guys on the next one. Peace.